Hello. Okay. Oh shoot. I'm too close to the camera. Well, I'm just glad that the chat's working now, because for the longest time it wasn't. I was having such struggles with the chat box. Okay. Let me see something. I'm gonna check my Twitch channel real quick. Well, there's 2 people following. Or watching. Yay! Maybe it's just me and the person commenting. No, what happened? Okay. Sorry. I freaked out. Yes, I know who, yes, I know. Hello. Hello, sir. Okay. You might be the only one watching it right now, in all honesty. But that is fine. So. No, you're not. You're not stupid. Don't call yourself stupid. Okay. So. So, my name is Red Matheson, otherwise known as Kimchi Ryu, and this is Pokemon for Dummies. So, I'm gonna just start going, see how this goes. Okay. So, first off, I made this series for my friends who don't know anything about Pokemon. Like, not a single thing, but want to learn. I'm gonna try my best to make it simple, but there's really no guarantees, so we're gonna try what we can. So yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm also always so nervous to stream. Like, so nervous to stream. So, usually something always goes wrong, and I'm like, please, no. Okay, so, this is the first lesson, which is about the Pokemon series. So, how it started. Satoshi Tajiri, the guy who created Pokemon, had a great love for bugs when he was a child, even earning the nickname Dr. Bug. Yeah, that's true. Same as a phone call. I should probably do that too. That makes sense, because I'm gotten better with phone calls. So, anyways, how it started. Satoshi Tajiri made Pokemon, and he absolutely loved bugs. So, when he was little, and I think it continued into adulthood. So, the idea for Pokemon first came to him when he saw 2 kids playing on their Game Boys with a game link connecting the 2 handhelds. He imagined insects crawling across the cable as he watched. He thought about the Game Link cable's capabilities, and the idea for Pokemon was slowly being born. So since the first game came out in 1996, oh yeah, this is the 30th year anniversary of Pokemon, another good reason to be doing this. Pokemon has grown and inspired an array of media, including anime, card games, manga, and many spin-off games. Today, Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise of all time. And yes, that's still true, even outdoing Mario and Star Wars. So let's start with the basics. Sorry, you can't see me clapping because I have a VTuber model. I need to fix that. Maybe I should fix that. Anywho, so I'm gonna move my model just a little bit. Okay. So, the main objective of the Pokemon games is catch all the Pokemon you can in the game. There is a total of 1,025 different Pokemon to date in the Pokemon world, which that's a lot. And I'm going to be honest with you, I lose track sometimes. I have lost track since Gen 8. Okay, well then go get some, sir. Go get some beer. I didn't ask you. Did I ask you? No. So, each Pokemon's information is collected into an electronic encyclopedia called Pokédex. Sir, this is going on YouTube. Hopefully for children. Oh. Okay, you guys. Every game has a professor whose name is based off of some sort of plant, mostly trees. I can't believe y'all in the chat right now. Stop. I'm gonna have to censor me cussing because it's YouTube. Oh lordy. Oh lordy, lordy, lordy. Okay. I'm trying to think. So there was something I was gonna say that I did not include in this slide. Is that for some people they might think water is wet when I say this. I ain't gonna do crap. Yeah, that's because you're out of the country right now, sir. When you get back, I'm gonna F you up. Not really, but anyways. So, I may be saying water is wet when I say this, but what makes Pokemon different from the other capture monsters and train them sort of games is that you have to have at least friends, which sounds terrible to say, but you're meant to connect with other people to complete the Pokedex, because you can't just do it by yourself, because you gotta have at least, because there's a reason there's 2 games in each generation. You gotta, because some Pokemon are not in one game, but are in another. So, or you could be like me when I was young and just have multiple systems to trade with myself. Sad, I know I'm lonely. Okay. I'm becoming the very best. In most Pokemon games, you go around the region collecting not only Pokemon, but gym badges too. All gyms have a gym leader, or a very strong trainer that usually specializes in a certain type of Pokemon, who when you beat them in a Pokemon battle, will give you a gym badge. Each region, with the exception of Alola, which we'll get there eventually, yeah I know I'm a nerd, has a total of 8 gym leaders to beat, often in a very specific order. So, once you've beaten all 8 gym leaders, you go to the Pokemon League where you face the Elite Four and the champion of the region. The Elite Four are trainers who are even stronger than gym leaders, and you have to beat all of them in order to face the champion. For those who don't know, if you lose to one Elite Four member, you gotta start back over. You lose to the second one, you gotta start from 1. So on and so forth. For free. Wait. Is this stream what? Oh, I hope not. I hope it's not stuck. Is it showing that it's stuck? Okay, come on. I just want to make sure it's still going. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit slow, but it's still going on my end. Okay. So, and the champion is the strongest trainer in the entire region. Most of them don't specialize in just one Pokemon type, unlike gym leaders and Elite Four members. Which I will also note, you lose to the champion, you gotta start from the beginning of the Elite Four. So yeah, you gotta be prepared for this stuff. Oh, come on. In every Pokemon game, there is also a villainous team who is up to no good in some sort of way. Most of them target a certain legendary Pokemon to complete their plans. Now, I'm just going to start with Gen 1 and Gen 2 because that's where things are starting in this. I'm still here oh no. I hope it's not freezing a lot because I'm trying to teach people stuff. I'll have to go back and watch it and see, because I don't know. I'd also pull it up on my end. I'm a dummy. And you, Knight's Helm, watch your mouth. Because I'm not asking you. Sometimes. Okay, yeah, it's not freezing on my end. I hope it's not freezing. I'll just keep it right there. So... okay, so I have it to the side, so I can at least see comments somewhat better. Okay. Jeez. Okay. So, yes, there are bad guys in the Pokemon world. I'm going to start with Gen 1 specifically, because the next lesson will be on Gen 1, which is the games Red, Blue, and Yellow. So, to date, there are 18 different type of Pokemon types, which is a lot. And also, I will note that in Gen 1, there is no Steel and no Fairy. Fairy didn't come for a hot minute. Steel didn't come till 2nd generation. But anyways, let's keep going. And each Pokemon has a weakness and a strength, and I will probably make a separate video on the different typings and what they're weak to, what they're not weak to. So yeah, it'll go through each typing. Oh yeah, that's right. Dark didn't come till 2nd gen either. It's like, why do I feel like I'm forgetting one? Yes. So let me go back. So okay. Maybe I should have swapped Dragon and Steel to show which ones were not in just yet. Anywho, technical machines or TMs. So, as you know, or not, I shouldn't say as you know because not everyone knows, Pokemon learn moves as they level up. The highest level they can go to is 100. And aside from the moves they learn from leveling up, you can also teach them moves through a device called a technical machine or a TM. In the first 4 games, you could only use a TM once. And then, this is actually wrong, I need to update this. So, up until Gen 8, question mark? So between 5 and 8, you could use a move however many times you want, but then Gen 8 introduced, I forget what they were called, but it was like special ones that you could only use one at a time, and you had to buy those. And then in Gen 9, you could make your own TMs, so you can make them however many you want, as long as you have the recipe for it, which sounds weird, but yeah. So, and some TMs can be used outside of battle, just like HMs can. Now, what are HMs? Those are hidden machines. And these were kind of gotten rid of in the more recent generations, like 8 and 9. But, I'm sorry. So, hidden moves, or HMs, are moves you can teach to a Pokemon that you can also use outside of battle. You often need a gym badge to use certain ones, depending on the game. So, and yes, unlike TMs, they don't break. But the bad thing is, you gotta go to a special person to delete that move from your Pokemon's roster. So otherwise, they cannot unlearn an HM. So, let me see. And then there's the starter Pokemon. In each game, you get to choose a starter. Well, with the exception of Yellow and then Let's Go. But we'll get to that. So it's the very first Pokemon you get at the beginning of the game. That's why they're called starters. There are 3 starters in each game, and each has a different type. Grass, fire, and water. Each starter Pokemon evolves twice. Now, so, in case you couldn't really tell, red means they're weak to it, green means they're good against it. So, the point of the starters being grass, fire, and water is so that none is better than the other. So grass is weak to fire, but fire's good against grass. Fire's weak to water, but water's good against fire. And then water's weak to grass, but grass is good against water. So, that's usually the very typical typing of things. Yes, there are 9 generations of Pokemon, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think this has the most recent one, but never mind, it does. I see my son. Pride is not the word I'm looking for Fuecoco. I'm sorry, I love Fuecoco so much. So, each generation takes place in a land known as a region, with the exception of Gen 2, because Gen 2 takes place in 2 regions. I will get to that in a later point. So, with each new generation come new Pokemon, including new starter Pokemon for each generation. And then evolution. So, most Pokemon evolve, which means they change their look along with many other aspects. And according to in-game dialogue from the 4th generation, over 90% of Pokemon evolve. And some evolve once, some evolve twice, and some don't evolve at all. Pokemon evolve by leveling up, which is an in-game mechanic that's very common for RPGs or role-playing games. Pokemon who evolve can also learn new moves that they originally couldn't learn in their previous evolutionary state. And yeah, evolution has gotten crazy. The way you gotta evolve your Pokemon in more recent generations. Because some evolve, like I said, by leveling up. Others evolve by trade. Some evolve during certain times of the day, some with a certain amount of happiness or love, or I guess friendship or love, which there is a difference. And some evolve depending on how the system they're played on is held, / how their character moves in the game. Yes, there's a Pokemon where you have to hold your console upside down for it to evolve. And then some evolve in this combination of certain events in tandem with reaching a certain level. So, evolution and gender. Gender was not introduced till Gen 2. So everybody was non-binary in Gen 1. There's a few Pokemon that evolve into a certain Pokemon based on its gender, such as Snorunt. So it can evolve into Glalie as either gender, but only a girl Snorunt can evolve into Frostlass with his Dawnstone. I don't know if I include that, but yeah, there's also evolutionary items that help your Pokemon evolve. And there are a few Pokemon that evolve into certain Pokemon based on its gender. Other Pokemon evolve in the same Pokemon, but look different based on their gender, such as Meowstic, which has, this is the boy. Oh no, shoot. So, Esper evolves into this if it's a boy, and then this if it's a girl. They're both Meowstic. So, the Mega Evolution. Oh boy. Yeah, it's gotten crazy since since Legend ZA came out. But, yeah, Mega Evolutions are not permanent evolution. They just make your Pokemon stronger than what they originally were. And your Pokemon does not have to evolve to have a Mega Evolution, but it does need to be, at the very least, fully evolved if it does have a Mega Evolution. Let me see. A primordial reversion. Yeah, so this is very interesting. This was introduced in Gen 6 of the Gen 3 remakes. They lost me on Mega. Yeah, they kind of lost me on Mega too. Yeah, but I still love Pokemon regardless. Anyways, so the two Pokemon shown are the only ones with primordial reversion. That is Groudon and Kyogre. And it is different from Mega Evolution. I'm trying to remember. Sorry. I'm stretching, don't mind me. So they're different from Mega Evolution in the sense that they immediately change into their primordial form when sent out into battle if they're holding a certain item. Which, that's a whole thing that I'll get into later. Dialga won a mystery. Oh yeah, that. Though I'm not doing Mystery Dungeon. I should because I've never played them and I need to. And I know that. Yes, I have complicated feelings about Mystery Dungeon. It's not that I don't like it, but I had to take a break because it was making me mad at one point. Because I'm not good at Mystery Dungeon. Anyways, so forms. Sir, we don't need this. We don't need this. Why is it censoring it in my... I don't want stuff censored. I'm sorry. Just a second. What is going on? I'm trying to figure out why it's censoring words like butt. Hide offensive language. Why would I hide offensive language? Okay. Oh my gosh, y'all need to grow up in the comments. Anyways, so certain Pokemon have different forms, which often means a change in their typing, though that's not always the case. The example below is Meloetta changes form when it learns a certain move, which is the way some Pokemon change form. There are several different forms. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm just gonna hold this up. So, some Pokemon change form in weather, which is Castform's case. Some with certain items, which is in Rotom's case. Others have different forms depending on where they are found in the game, such as Shellos and Gastrodon. Where they're in the real world, which again is Vivillon, and then, I don't know why I said it again, or where they evolve, which is such as female Burmy, which only female Burmies can evolve into Wormadam. That's another thing with certain Pokemon evolving to different Pokemon. Anyways, there's a special case such as Unknown, who have different forms that look like the letters of the alphabet. RIP Gen 4 with being able to use... I'm sorry. Okay, let me just say it. So in Gen 4, you can catch all the Unknown, all the different forms, and you get little stickers you can put on your Pokeballs when you send them out. And I tell them I'm going to smack you with a brick. You're going to become a Ghost-type Eevee. Make you a Ghost-type Eevee. I'm just going to yeet it from across the world. Yeah, and I loved the stickers on the Pokeballs, but yeah, there's a reason it didn't come back in the remakes, because people abused that. And then regional forms. So, regional forms were first introduced in Gen 7. And they are the same Pokemon, they just have different typings. And, let me see. I guess we're starting with the Alolan forms. There are a few Pokemon in Alola that have regional forms. Some change form when they evolve. So, for example, Pikachu. Depends on where it is, but it will evolve into a Raichu no matter what. It's just versus Cantonian or Alolan. Then Vulpix, regular Vulpix, evolves with a Fire Stone, while Alolan Vulpix evolves with an Ice Stone because it's part Ice type. Hello! Okay, and then Galarian forms. This is where Gen 8 took place, was in Galar. And some change their form when they evolve, such as Coughing. Some have an entirely different line that's different from their original form. Let me see. Entirely different. I don't know why I put Rapidash for that. Or Ponyta, because that's actually more relevant to this one. So, Galar and Hisuian forms. So, Zigzagoon evolves into Linoon. That was introduced in Gen 3. Well, thank you, everyone. Hi! Sorry, I'm just now seeing some of the comments. I'm getting so into this. So, yeah, Pokemon's come a long way, sir. A very long ways. So, Gen 3, there was only these two. And then, Gen 8 came around. Totally different forms of the same Pokemon. A new evolution was introduced. So, let me see. Then convergent forms, which are ecologically similar Pokemon that are similar to other species of Pokemon but are in fact a totally different species. Example, Dugtrio and Wugtrio look very similar, but they're very different Pokemon. Especially in typings, because Dugtrio's ground and Wugtrio's water. And then there's legendaries. So, some Pokemon, actually this is not up to date either. But it's also very hard to find a full picture of all legendaries. So, yeah, this only goes up to Gen 7. Yeah, this only has Gen 7 Pokemon, up to Gen 7. It doesn't have 8 or 9, but that's fine. I can go over those when I get to those videos. Oh, you don't add the one with awesome hair? Wait, which one with awesome hair? I'm trying to think. I'll wait for you to tell me which one is the one with the awesome hair, because I can't think of which one is the one with the awesome hair. But yes, so legendaries. Rude, no dialect. Okay, boo on you, sir. Some Pokemon in the Pokemon world have powers beyond average Pokemon, and often play a role in a region's history. These Pokemon are called legendaries. And almost all Pokemon are genderless, and almost all have no evolutionary line. And then there's pseudo-legendaries, which are both incredibly strong and incredibly rare Pokemon. But there's more than just one of them, unlike legendaries where there's often just one. And pseudo-legendaries take a very long time to evolve. Very long time. At the minimum 45, which that takes a while to get from 1 to 45. Okay. So who wants you and your... Oh, thank you. Okay, so who wants to continue? Might hang from another oak later. Sir. If I gotta ask, what's your favorite? Ooh. Okay. So, my favorite gen is Gen 4. Second is Gen 2. Very close. But Gen 4 is where I fell in love with Pokemon all over again. And my favorite Pokemon is Dragonite, which actually is this one right here. Dragonite is my absolute favorite. Okay, so let me see.